Wow, thank you, Bob. Every pastor, every ministry leader that is in this room right now is already praying for my mic. You're already making a decision about artificial intelligence, AI. I hear a woo. Some of you are using it. Some of you are avoiding it. And some of you are pretending not to be using it. But if we're honest, I believe that we're all deciding what role it will play in ministry. Today isn't about hype. It's not about fear. Hopefully, it's about wisdom. The question isn't whether AI exists. The question is whether pastors will lead wisely by using it. I don't know what formed you. If you think back about the formative days in what you do, it's going to be different than what I'm formed by. A few years ago, I wrote this book. And thank you so much, First Coast Churches, for giving you one of my books. That blesses me and you, I hope. Your church is probably doing a lot. But, if you're not known for the right things, that's a clarity problem. And this book is our clarity formula, our clarity framework that will walk you through methodically like a great workbook would so that you can decide what you should be known for in your community. If you're tired of being overlooked by your community, this book will help you fix that. So here's the reality though. In a world where AI, I almost sounded like that movie guy, in a world of AI. In a world where AI can create endless content in seconds, the church that wins won't be the ones who say more, but the ones who are clear about what they're actually known for, so that we can then point to the gospel. The book's great, but I talk all over the United States about First Coast Churches. I am so blessed to be part of this team. And I know Bob, quickly pointed to his team that put this together, but let's give Bob a hand for all he does. Don't pastor alone. This is a room full of people who understand that. I work with a lot of pastors who need to come alongside other pastors and enjoy each other and don't pastor alone. The clarity of being able to say that the crazy part is that I get to speak at a bunch of conferences and I'll mention First Coast Churches and they're like, oh, that's the don't pastor alone. The clarity of understanding that and owning it is huge. I hope that you as a church will also understand and clarify what you should be known for so that it's a solution to your community. Because sadly, the community doesn't know that we offer a solution. And oftentimes the community will push the church away thinking, I don't need that. So today, before we start talking about artificial intelligence, I'm amazed at how many things I have seen where somebody proclaims that they are an expert in artificial intelligence. There are no experts in artificial intelligence right now. There are a lot of people who are trying to learn faster than everybody else so that they can proclaim in front of a group of people, I am an expert. This feels way over my head. You should be overwhelmed by artificial intelligence. But what I wanted to do is use a new technology. I want to use a new technology, and we're going to poll you all live on the screen of what you feel about artificial intelligence. So that would require you all to pull out your phones. Do not look at your text messages or the thousands of emails that you're ignoring. I see you out there. And if technology works, we're going to have a screen that pops up. And it's here. Okay, so if you go to this, can you all get to that? You should have 4 answers to choose from. You'll notice at the top it has named you. That means that you're going to be anonymous because I have no idea what it just named you. If you want to put your name in there, you can do that. But you can choose. Does everybody have the choices? Because already it's not doing what it's supposed to do. Let me back up. Okay, so I wanted to get a read from the room how much you're relying on AI, how much you believe in AI. It's crazy how much, as soon as you have the knowledge of a room, how much easier it is to speak to that room. I don't see anyone ready to throw things at me. But, it's interesting. This AI world that we're living in is changing on a regular basis, and everyone's trying to get a read on the world of what they feel about this. I don't know whether you know or not, but Barna, who is where we turn to for that research, Barna partnered with Gloo, Gloo, and they came up yesterday with a whole new survey results of what the world is feeling about AI. After all my slides were done, after I felt confident in what I was going to speak on, and then I said, I got to share this. So let's just take a look at this. Okay, I'm going to have to shut this down. Technology. This is a happy moment in my life. Okay, now I feel comfortable. So here's what was just released by Barna and Gloo yesterday. What does 48%? So what they did, and the reason why we love Barna, is that they lean into Christians. But I always like how they add practicing Christians, because that's a huge difference in our world. But practicing Christians, this is just the people who would go, well, yes, I'm a Christian. Oh, no, I actually do practice it. Nearly half, 48%, trust AI with spiritual growth. Is this a concern? But interestingly, 83% of practicing Christians worry that Scripture is being misinterpreted by AI. Where do you fall? And then a really interesting snippet of information that came out, 72% worry that the pastor's role will be replaced by AI. Now, I don't know how you feel. I live in this world of communications in churches. We know that the average person who's walking into your pew every week has the attention span of a gnat. I'm glad you guys don't. No, we know that the attention span of people have just gotten smaller and smaller. So I say to pastors, we've got to figure out how do we communicate to those people so that they actually listen. It's not the same world that you grew up in. You know that. When you stand on a stage, you know whether you're keeping people's attention or not. You can go ahead and try to change the whole world and increase their attention span, or you've got to kind of go with it. The thing that I look at, these things, and especially that huge number, if people are worried that the pastor's role will be replaced by AI, this is a concern for anyone who has pastor in front of their name. They're at least thinking about it. Well, if you download my notes from this session, and I'll put the QR code up again, I'll actually give you a link to this, or you can just go to the Barna, I don't know, I think it's actually Glue, I think actually put it out, so it's Glue website, and that link will be in there. So then when it comes to spiritual guidance, this survey, this poll, went further and asked, is AI as trustworthy as a pastor? Now, I follow a lot of this research, and what I'm amazed at is the way that this is formed. Because what doesn't get added to this equation is that, sadly, trustworthiness of pastors is at an all-time low. This should be on your radar. People doubt what you say. So, you can imagine, depending on how old you are, this has never not worked before. So, depending on how old you are, so this is all US adults. Then we have Gen Z, and then we have millennials. So Gen Zs are 14 to 29-year-olds, millennials are 30s to 45-year-olds. It makes me feel very old to know that both of my kids are millennials. So, what does US adults in the entirety answer is AI as trustworthy as a pastor? And what we've discovered is that 1 in 3 US adults believe that AI is as trustworthy as a pastor. What about younger? Like, let's go really young, the young Gen Zs. And what we've discovered is that almost 2 in 5 believe that AI is as trustworthy as a pastor. And millennials, the little bit older, interestingly enough, almost half, 44%, almost half believe that AI is as trustworthy as a pastor. So let's talk about this. It's here, it's among us, and many of you are dabbling in it. Is it something you should dabble in? This kind of made me laugh a little bit. So people who delegate to AI, few people are delegating to AI. I mean, in this one person. That's the pastor who's discovered ChatGPT, I don't know, 3 weeks ago, and now thinks he hired a free ministry assistant. He's using it for emails, announcements, social posts. He probably even does his grocery list on it. He's something. Then there's those that are deploying AI. A few more people. Now, these are the churches trying to use AI strategically. They're thinking about systems, workflow, communication, research, and how to save time without losing quality. That's probably where many of you are at least trying to figure things out. And then there are people who are debating AI, and it's a huge crowd, especially in the church world. Why? Because Christians love to debate. So we've all been here many times before. We've debated all the new technologies, and now there's AI. Imagine the printing presses of the devil. Or maybe it's microphones. Why do we need microphones? As I was getting mic'd up, some pastor walked by and said, Jesus didn't need a microphone. Remember when, and there's still some churches that talk to me about this, those evil projectors. I mean, it's the decline of the world today, all in one device. And then there was, remember when we fussed about online giving or live streaming? And then COVID hit, and then suddenly all churches became TV ministries. But see, AI feels different though, because the tool doesn't just distribute content, it seems to create it. And so all of a sudden, as we've done it before, fear stops everything. Should the church give way to that evil technology? What's interesting is that depending on how old you are, it shifts, as we saw in that survey. But the crazy part, young people today, I know you've all said it, Gen Z, the young people, 14 to 29-year-olds, they're even conflicted. Look at this. How many of them are angry about AI? Last year, way back last year, 22% of Gen Z said, I'm angry about AI. This year, a whole year later, it went up to 31%. How many are excited? It dropped from 36% to 22%. How many are hopeful about AI? It dropped from 27 to 18%. Even younger generations are becoming more and more skeptical of all of this. Gen Zers have become angrier and less excited and less hopeful about the tech in the last year. This isn't just about older pastors, not that we have any in the room. It's not about older pastors being cautious. People are wondering what is going on. 48% of employed Gen Z, now there's an oxymoron. 48%, almost like, no, I better not. Don't go down that path. Of employee Gen Zers believe AI creates more risks than benefits at work. People are wondering what happens when convenience outruns wisdom. I don't know about you, but that spoke to me. I mean, we can have something back to us really quick because we're really busy. So what happens when quick outruns busy? Or what about, you know what? I can do something in AI and it'll look great. Instead of just fine like I could do. What happens when great outruns fine? Or that instant thing, that one thing that you think all I have to do is just ask AI, and just like that, instantly I'm going to get something back. But what if God wanted you to go through the process? We're formed by the process that we go through. So, crazy enough, the world's not asking if AI is powerful, it's asking if it's trustworthy. Is there too much risk in it? If the world's asking that, we of all people need to be asking it as well. So I get to talk. I was just at a national conference talking about AI. I talked to pastors afterwards. The actual questions that the pastors are asking are, so is this ethical? Can I trust it? Can I still call it mine? Where's the line that I can use it and then I should stop using it? Interestingly, we almost have to go back to a basic quality because a lot of pastors are asking, what about sermons? Can I get an AI to develop a sermon? It's a great question, and hopefully I'm going to give you some philosophy. We're doing these in 2 sessions. This is going to be philosophy session, and then we're going to get really, really practical in the second session. But here's a big question, philosophical. What is a sermon? I'd love to have the time to just say, here's a mic, have at it. What is a sermon? I mean, is a sermon, sermons, they're not yours just because you typed the words. No, sermons are yours because God formed that message in you first. We're going to come back to formation. What does it mean to have a sermon formed in you and then you work with AI? But you know, we almost have to stick a pin in this and then scoot over to the danger that nobody's talking about. Why are they not talking about it? Because it's scary. So, AI is designed to agree with you. Let that sink in. AI is designed to agree with you. So I saw this and kind of chuckled. And these people are coming to your church. ChatGPT is telling the dumbest person you know that they're absolutely right. And it's true. MIT researchers have mathematically proven that ChatGPT's built-in sycophancy, okay, so it's not a word that we typically use, so that word, sycophancy, is an echo chamber that sounds intelligent. All the things I could say right now. ChatGPT's built-in sycophancy creates a phenomena they call delusional spiraling. You ask it something, well, it agrees. You ask again and it agrees even harder until you end up believing things that are flat out false. Yeah, get it to write a sermon for you. See, AI can process information. It can't provide wisdom. As much as it will sound wise, you should question everything. Beware, accuracy does matter. You know, it's interesting because we've all started to slowly rely on AIs. Google AI overviews. You know, when you ask Google a question and then it says, actually, you don't need to look at anyone's website. We've done that for you. Here's the answer. And I don't know about you, that's a whole lot easier in my busy schedule than to go through and look at all the different pages and figure it out myself. So let's just believe it, right? Well, UMI, which is a research company, has looked at hundreds of thousands of Google AI overviews, and they found that they're 90% accurate. Woohoo! But they don't list the ones that are inaccurate. By the way, this is probably not right, but here's the answer. Imagine if you take 90%, because you think 90%, that's pretty good. But then you take it out over billions of searches every day. Tens of millions of inaccuracies per hour. And why does this happen? The crazy second and fourth most cited source. One is not the Bible. I'll just let you know right now. The second and fourth most cited source were Facebook and Reddit. Because that's where we go for truth. You know, this isn't new. I don't know about you, but in my world, and I certainly believe from what I hear from pastors are already battling misinformation every week. Now it's at our hands as quickly as possible so that we can go, yes, that's what I wanted to hear. Can I implore you, pastors, don't become lazy with truth. So, what's the line? What is the line that pastors just shouldn't cross? The scariest part of doing a 45-minute talk about a 10-hour issue, as you all know every week, is what do I say and what do I not say? I can't say it all. Do not believe that I'm an expert in this. I'm figuring it out just like you all. But I'm doing it with a filter of, is that the right way? Is that truth? And here's the line that I believe that all pastors should never cross. Don't let AI do the work that forms you. Let me say it one more time. Don't let artificial intelligence do the work that forms you. So what forms you as a pastor? And this is me hopefully speaking of all pastors. What forms you? Why, it's prayer, study, and shepherding. AI can't replace formation. Don't do it. If it's taken away from your prayer life, don't do it. If it's taking you away from studying lives, don't do it. And don't certainly do it if you're trying to shepherd somebody. Ed Stetzer said, use AI to support your prep, not replace it. See, if AI replaces the process that forms you, it'll weaken the leader that you're becoming. God uses that process. Now, just because we're coming to the end of our 45 minutes of this exhaustive search through everything, AI does great work, though. Am I saying, so don't use AI? No, AI is here. We're going to have to figure out how to use it. And just when we're trying to figure out how to use it, we have to impart to our people, the people in our pews, wise ways to use it. Don't not talk about it. They're doing it. You need to give them some guardrails. So what can AI do really well? Next session, we're going to talk a little bit more practically about what I would recommend you to do with AI. There's research, there's organization, there's editing, there's brainstorming, communication strategy. For us in our office, we're a small office. When we're all meeting Zoom-wise, we add AI in there as a creative source. Is it something that's coming up with everything that we're doing? No, it's helping us figure out how to do it a little bit better. The other thing, you can come up with sermon illustrations. I don't think that's getting into formation at all. Shortening announcement, demographics, insights, website SEO, social media help. But let me just stop. Honestly, some of your church announcements need shortening. We're going to come back. We're going to stick a pin into this in the second session. I'll show you how you can use AI to shorten, hallelujah, your announcements. It is not just giving you what you want to hear when it says, maybe you shouldn't be doing these at all. But and again, this will be in the notes, but yesterday, somebody said, okay, there's 6 areas that you can use AI in, and here's what we would recommend practically for what apps you should use. So, general assistance, development, content creation, productivity, creativity, automation. If you look at the top, that's probably where a lot of you are, whether you've chosen to be Claude, I'm Canadian, born American, but we say Claude. So Claude or Claude, whichever one you want to go with, or ChatGPT or Gemini. And then you can kind of go down the path, down to the very bottom. There's lots of AI. I don't know whether you've noticed or not, but in the last year, AI applications, all applications have issued, hey, well, why can't we add an AI overview? So, Bob talked about this. The kingdom practices. My coin that has First Coast churches don't pastor alone on one side, and the 4 kingdom practices: pray, preach, shepherd, lead. If you don't have one of these coins, I don't think I'm crossing the line here, but if you don't have one and have not received one, go talk to Bob. I think he has them in his pocket. But rather than calling them kingdom practices for AI, can I just tell you, maybe it should be leadership filters. Every AI decision should pass through these filters. If it weakens one of them, rethink it. See, technology can change, ministry methods, but it should never change pastoral priorities. Now, there's one thing that there are so many things I wish I could just tell you about. And so I'm going to do what I tell pastors to do all the time. So if you can't get to something, send them to the website to get something. So here's the way that would work. Every church in America, no, in the world, including you all, need one thing when it comes to AI. Remember, we're shepherding, we're pastoring those people in the pews who believe everything that they read in AI, and they're believing a lie sometimes. But what your church needs, that one thing, you need an AI policy. You've already got policies for money, for safety, for social media. Now you need one for AI. If you don't have those other ones, you need all of them. But you need an AI policy. What does that policy cover? It covers what's acceptable, what's off limits, what requires disclosure, what must be verified. Now, as my team and I were going through these slides, they were like, you're going to talk about that more, and because more and more churches are coming to us to help them create an AI policy. And I don't know whether I'm crossing a line here, but we just created an AI policy for a church that I think, you know what? Most churches could probably use this AI policy. If you don't want to customize it, I don't want to hear about it. But if you want a template for what you can do, then we've created the AI policy template. And again, if you download the notes, yes, we are going to ask you for some information, just because we want to know who is downloading our stuff. Just make sure, and even if you've done it in the past and you get our emails on a regular basis, do it again. You're not going to get two, but make sure when you get to conference that you choose FCC. I think it's FCC AI 26, but FCC at the very bottom. And that's what triggers there's going to be 2 or 3 more things that we're giving away. You're going to get them all, so you only have to do this once. But please come up with an AI policy. This policy is not meant to be for every church. It was meant for one church, but it'll at least give you a starting point. I implore you, lead AI in your church. The world is slowly shifting to relying on AI, and the church needs to give some parameters. We need to lead AI. Don't let AI lead you or your church. See, artificial intelligence is not the future of the church. Spirit-led pastors are. You know, AI may shape culture, but faithful pastors still shape people. And AI, do not give in to AI doing that for you. So, I went over a couple of minutes, but it is break time. And we're going to take a break, and then we're going to come back, and we're actually going to talk about the 10 AI mistakes that pastors must avoid, and I'm going to try to do it in a positive way so that you can also learn some stuff from this. Again, that got cut off. I'm going to correct this this, move it over so that that QR code works. But seriously, download, it'll give you your slides, it'll give you that AI policy, and then there's a couple of other things we're going to talk about a little bit later. Thank you all. Bob, am I just dismissing?
Yes. 15 minutes.
15 minutes? Come back to your seat.